Bourdain has been anti-Trump, anti-Hillary, anti-Weinstein. He's really written things about Henry Kissinger that are true, that are very bold for somebody who's respected by liberals. And it's because he was seen as somebody, even more than Kanye West, who could double Trump's numbers with black voters. He was seen as somebody that'd be the final domino to fall because he's so respected by liberals out there. And he was showing signs of a conscience. He was realizing what was happening. He was aware of all the government sex trafficking and the things that were going on. And he was beginning to talk about working that into his show and said that he was pro-human, bring the parties together, don't hate Trump, let's work together, let's have a human future, let's not be into eugenics. An Elon Musk message of truth, an Alex Jones message, because it's just the truth. Kanye West. In fact, he specifically talked about the bigger plan.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here, live, broadcasting from my hotel room with an emergency transmission update that is absolutely critical. Now, I want to be clear. I got up because I'm here in Hawaii at about 4 a.m., and I noticed that a Army source of mine had sent me a link that Anthony Bourdain had just died, and that they were saying it was a suicide out of the gates, and that was suspicious when they say something's a suicide when it's first announced. They always say police are looking into it, at least for a day or so, and then you hear suicide. Whenever you hear it right away, it's very suspicious. And the individual I was talking to has been in the highest levels of security details, protecting Hillary Clinton, George W. Bush, you name it, and he thought it was very, very suspicious. Bourdain knew a lot of secrets. He had become very, very famous, first writing a tell-all book about this, the secrets of being a top chef. But I tweeted out that, hey, if I commit suicide, I didn't commit suicide, I was killed. And I said he was enemies, more and more with the Clintons, but I said he also said bad things about Trump, that he'd serve him hemlock as a joke. But Bourdain was the only successful person on CNN. Bourdain was a superstar internationally and really respected. He was becoming really good friends with Elon Musk. Well, I got a emergency phone call from one of the producers saying one of our best sources wants to talk to you. He's really upset. And it all clicked. I went, oh my God, he told me off air months ago and on air just a few weeks ago that you look for other big Hollywood icon type people. And he told me off air, Anthony Bourdain, saying that he had helped produce with Elon Musk, this individual works with SpaceX and other areas, this piece with Bourdain, and that Bourdain had been challenged by Elon Musk to go public and to talk about his experiences and what he knew, and to basically do a full Kanye, fully woke. And so I knew about this, and then it totally clicked. This was about like 6 in the morning Hawaii time. I had time to wake up. So I wrote a bunch of notes here. You can see some of them are on hotel coasters. And these are the notes that the gentleman basically laid out to me. And I know who this gentleman is. His family is well-known and wealthy, to say the least. And he has been involved in Army special operations, Army psychological operations. And he's even said I can say who he is now, but at this point, I said, I'm going to give you some time to cool off before we do that. Right now, he told me this stuff about an hour and a half ago. Right now, he's in hot water with folks, but we had to do this in case they try to kill him or myself, because here's the bottom line. Bourdain was 61 years old. He had a happy 9-year-old daughter. He had just gotten remarried. He'd never been happier. He had been friends with Elon Musk for a long time. So he was becoming best friends with Musk. Musk is fully awake to globalism, the New World Order, the whole brainwashing system, the post-human system they're trying to set up. He's been saying everything that I told you 20 years ago and I put in Endgame 11 years ago, not because he's following what I said, but because that's what the globalists are planning. And he's been let in at the highest levels into their meetings because he's a high IQ guy and a multi-billionaire. And now he's under Soros attack and others trying a hostile takeover. So they were in Marrakesh, Morocco 2 months ago, kicking off the taping of his new season. 0.0 is the production company. He owns his own show. And Musk and him had already been hanging out there in Morocco for 4 or 5 days, really, discussing what was happening, what was going on up on this big vista where they had this high-tech science lab connected to some of the leaders of Morocco. And so they're up there doing the shoot. You'll remember a few months ago when one of our guests was from Morocco. That was all going on then in Morocco then. And they were discussing all these things, and he was really deprogramming him. And then more of his shows became this whole woke thing globally to what was happening in a pro-human future and pro-space exploration, not a post-industrial world, not a globalist depopulation planet. Not this thing where the AI gods take over that Musk and others have warned about, that Google and others are embracing and saying humans are bad. We need a post-human world. So Bourdain has been anti-Trump, anti-Hillary, anti-Weinstein. He's really written things about Henry Kissinger that are true, that are very bold for somebody who's respected by liberals. And it's because he was seen as somebody, even more than Kanye West, who could double Trump's numbers with black voters. He was seen as somebody that'd be the final domino to fall because he's so respected by liberals out there. And he was showing signs of a conscience. He was realizing what was happening. He was aware of all the government sex trafficking and the things that were going on. And he was beginning to talk about working that into his show. He was working that into his show. And the word has come down now. We actually have the almost 12-minute video clip that is the episode in Morocco, but the 12-minute sit down and the 45-minute, hour-long episode, but 45 minutes is actual program, actual show. Our sources have the 11-minute, 50-second clip. If they ever think that they're going to now grab it and make it all a retrospective about Bourdain and mix in his old episodes and change it, they got nothing coming, because Bourdain had Final Cut, but his company didn't. And so just like Stanley Kubrick put out Eyes Wide Shut, when he had the Final Cut done, he had Final Cut power, but he refused to cut 24 minutes. He died instantly. And I've talked to his daughter, who was his protege, and the stuff she told me was off record, but let me just tell you, it all fits together. I've also talked to the Lennons, and they told me he's off record, but it all fits together just for my information. But I almost, at this point, almost don't want to know stuff in confidence anymore, because it's like the Gnarls Barkley song. Well, I was crazy, not because I didn't know anything, because I knew too much. So that's all going on. So I'm seen as one of the only venues where people can actually get this stuff out, where people aren't scared. And I've been told by the Pentagon and other patriots, the highest levels, that they fear Trump, they fear Donald Trump Jr., they fear Matt Drudge, they feared Anthony because he was starting to wake up to what was going on, was so influential with the left and others, and internationally was such a star. And they fear yours truly. And it's not like I'm proud to be saying this. It's a very dangerous position to be in, but they really fear, almost more than anybody except Trump right now, Elon Musk. And Elon needs to go public. I've already been saying that. He's been going public against the media. He's been going public against the AI takeover plan. But Elon, this was a message to Elon Musk. Anthony Bourdain was one of the #1 hosts in the world, the only success CNN had. He was branching out. He was planning to do programs on child trafficking, human sex trafficking. He had become best friends with Elon Musk. He had spent close to a week in Morocco 2 months ago at a private home with a scientific research facility. And we have the 11-minute, 50-second clip that they want cut out. We're able to bring that to you. It's been offered to us, but we're not going to air that here at this point. But if CNN or anybody says we're lying about this, we'll drop the hammer on you. I won't drop the hammer on you. Somebody's going to drop the hammer on you. They didn't want this clip to come out. They didn't want this information to come out. He was calling for a global awakening. He was understanding the Democrats are actually pro-war. They've been funding ISIS and Al-Qaeda. He understood that the Republican establishment was just as bad as well, and that all these people claiming they were liberals weren't really liberals, and that Trump had a bigger plan, a new Renaissance plan, and Elon Musk had convinced him of this. And so Bourdain was preparing, just like Kanye West and just like Kim Kardashian, to begin to reach out to Trump, just like she came to the White House last week on getting black people out of prison who were given racist sentences because of what color they were. See, that's the perfect way for her to reach out and show that Trump's good, and then have him move towards getting those laws changed, which he's now announced. The Clintons got it passed in '94, saying blacks were animals and needed to be made to heel like dogs. Remember that? Well, Trump thinks that's wrong. And so all this was about to happen. And Bourdain was aware of what was happening. And the Clintons were failing. They were falling. He was starting to come out and criticizing Hillary. He was starting to come out and criticize others like Weinstein. And he was about to become not a conservative, not even a nationalist. He's a true international guy, but in the good sense, he wanted peace and love. He'd spoken out against Kissinger. He'd spoken out against, he said, I'll serve hemlock to Trump back when he was buying into the bull. But he was getting ready via what was happening with Elon Musk to be a real leader and to go meet with Trump and to go public. That's really the big news here. And now he's died mysteriously in a hotel room, a crappy hotel room, right when he just got remarried, right when he has a 9-year-old daughter that's so happy, right when he told Elon Musk and others that he's the happiest he's ever been. This magically happens, ladies and gentlemen. The only guy successful in their entire system, and everybody liked him because he had a little bit of humanity to him compared to somebody like Wolf Blitzer, somebody like Brian Stelter, somebody like Hillary Clinton. Now he's dead. Now he's dead. And they just say, boom, suicide, boom, move on.
If fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
We can't extend this free shipping sale much longer with our best-selling items at InfoWarsStore.com. In fact, we can only run it a few more days. We're also running out of some of our best-selling items, like our amazing nootropic Rainforce. It's $19.95. Leading competitors are $60 and aren't even as good. It's a great deal normally at $39.95. Rainforce, you've never tried it, this is a great opportunity, $19.95. Also, Alpha Power is 50% off. If you don't know what it's done for me and so many others for stamina, focus, libido, it does so many things. X2, even though we're having trouble sourcing the deep earth crystals of the good halogen iodine, I am blowing out the stockpile of it we have, at least for another few days, at 50% off. And then after that, it's going to go back to full price until we secure more of it. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, or 888-253-3139. And thank you all for helping fund the second American global revolution.